A detailed review of Battalion 1944 is the title of the video. Let's crack on. This game is still an alpha, so a lot of what I'm going to say might still be changed. This was recorded in February 2018. I figured the best way to do this would be I'm going to make a list of what I expected and then what I got. The what I expected is pretty self-explanatory. It's basically what I was led to believe when I found out about the game, what I got from the reviews, basically everything before the official beta was released. What I got is split into two categories. I got the positives and the negatives, and then I'm going to do what I think of the game overall, which is the conclusion. So I'm 20 years old, and my dad, being the responsible adult that he is, got me playing Call of Duty 1 just after it was released when I was about 7. I absolutely love this game, and I adored every aspect of it. The graphics weren't all there, but it was on top of its game for the day. It really helped to kickstart the Call of Duty series, and as a side note, I don't recognise any COD after Black Ops 1 a good game, and no, I haven't tried COD World War II yet, or COD World War II, whatever you call it. Knowing this, you can expect that I had really high hopes for this game. I was looking forward to a trip down nostalgia lane. I didn't really care what the graphics were going to be, I was looking forward to the gameplay. I thought this game would be a gleaming example of what old shooters used to be. Simple, balanced guns, and whoever reacted faster won the fight. I was looking forward to a wide range of guns that I grew up knowing just by the outline on the screen: the MP40, STG-44, Thompson, and the Kar98K. So now you know what I wanted. Let's get into the positives. The aiming system is really simple, exactly what I expected. There's no faffing around, the crosshairs aren't at all invasive, and if anything, I'd say that the guns as a whole need the accuracy toned down a little bit. But I'm happy with its current state. Snipers are a one-shot kill to the body and head. A lot of games get this wrong. It's nice to see it done right. I like that everyone has all the guns unlocked from rank 1. No one's at a disadvantage, and it's an even playing field. You unlock a crate every time you level up, which contains a skin for the guns. I'll be honest, I don't really care for this system whatsoever, but it does have a monetary value to it. Much like CSGO, you can sell them on the market, and some of the skins at the moment are going for a very large amount of money. As I said, you get these crates for free every time you level up, and there is an option to buy more, which I wouldn't do. One of my friends has already sold a skin, making back nearly what he paid for the game, and he only has 12 hours on it. The M1 Grand has a really satisfying ping noise, and this is very important to me. The maps are pretty well designed, and they have a good variety of them as well. I do think that the maps are all quite small, and they are tailored to a small 5v5 group. I would really like to see some 12v12, maybe even 32 versus 32 maps. Obviously these would have to be a lot bigger, but I don't think that in its current state it's in any place to be able to make that sort of thing. But I'm hoping 6 months down the line, once they iron out all the issues with it, they're going to make things like that available. The community seems quite nice as well. I played with a lot of good people and a lot of bad people, and besides the occasional accusation, no one was in any way really toxic. I'd assume this is due to the more adult audience that are bathing in nostalgia like myself, but your guess is as good as mine. Before I say anything else, the M1 Grand can't be reloaded unless you shoot every bullet. Just change this. This doesn't make any sense. That aside, before I say anything really negative, I don't like how the excuse, but it's still in pre-release, is used every time that a new game is criticised. I accept that there's going to be some server issues when a game first comes out. You know, the devs didn't think that there'd be as many players online at any given time as they thought previously, but you know, all that's fine. It's still an alpha. The matching system is god awful though. There's a good chance you'll get into a 5v3, and for the short time that I've played the game, I've been in 2 5v1 situations, and yes, I've been on both sides of the coin. This may just be a server issue, I don't know, I'm not a fucking IT technician, but connecting to games, randomly losing connection, and poorly balanced lobbies is a big issue right now. I also experienced a few fatal errors, and by a few, I mean 3 to 4 times an hour. After a little bit of research, this might have been because I installed the game onto my hard drive instead of my SSD, like a normal person. This is something that really should have been identified during the testing phase, and should not be an issue right now. I don't understand the need for 5v5 games at all. I understand the competitive version is going to be 5v5 based, and I understand that the maps have been tailored to 5v5 games, but I don't like it. I think that this sort of playstyle doesn't suit the game as a whole at all. The minimum game capacity, in my opinion, should be 6v6 or 8v8. At the moment, you can't pick what sort of game mode you want to play. You have 2 options. You can play casual, which is basically competitive, or you can play arcade, which is everything else. This includes domination, capture the flag, and team deathmatch, in my experience. Now casual, just stay out of casual. There's some sweaty boys in there. You can go on a server list and pick a server, but no one's got time for that anymore. But overall, there's a very limited amount of modes, which I have no issue with, but I'm looking forward to seeing what else they're going to add. All the guns in the game sound pretty muffled and kinda similar. In the past, gaming companies have gone out and shot real guns, adjusted the noises that they've recorded. I accept that the funding for this might be a little bit outside of their reach, but all the gunshot noises need to be changed sooner rather than later, before everyone starts getting used to them. The hitmarker noise is so pathetic that if you're using a loud gun like a bolt action, you can't even hear it. this is not forgivable. Grenades can't be cooked, even though you pull out the pin whilst it's in your hand. Again, this is not forgivable. The graphics are piss poor for a paid game made in 2017 and released in 2018. But fear not, there is light at the end of the tunnel. The game has been made with the Unreal Engine. This means that there is a massive room for improvement in the graphics. I assume that the graphics are going to be updated in time. Character models are, I mean, they look like the same character models in COD 1. Like, yeah, it's a little bit better, but come on. It's 2018. There's a sort of jump mechanic in the game at the moment that either needs to be completely removed or embraced. I'm on the remove side of the argument because I think it really takes a large element of the game away. By this I mean, most matches will literally just be 10 guys running around, jumping every time they see an enemy, and shooting from the hip, with no real hindrance to their accuracy. If this is kept in the game, fair enough, leave it as it is. New players are going to find it very difficult to adapt to people flying while prone in the air, quick-scoping them. If you do want to remove this, then I recommend that you drastically reduce all accuracy while your character's airborne. You'll still get the occasional quick-scoper, but it's going to be far harder for them to hit anything. My last point is that I don't really understand what's going on with the Thompson. It seems to completely outclass the MP40. In my experience so far with the game, the guns all seem to be quite balanced. Fair enough, the Americans don't actually have a bolt-action rifle without a scope on it, but they've got two rifles instead, the M1 Grand and the carbine. The Thompson has a narrower bullet cone, does more damage, and I'll admit it's got a small magazine, but it can still take down 2 to 3 people without even having to reload it. The MP40 on the other hand has a very, very large bullet cone, lower damage, and has slightly more bullets, but in my opinion it doesn't even stand up to the Thompson at all. The MP40 is a larger gun, takes longer to reload, and is less accurate than the Tommy. I think that the MP40 needs to do more damage than the Thompson, and they can keep the accuracy and whatnot the same, and everyone else is going to be happy. This is definitely a large issue as well, because of how the game's played in its current state. Most people jump around a corner and they need an accurate gun to get a couple shots off. The MP40, with its slower fire rate than the Thompson, is just a really poor choice for this. I definitely think the Nazis are at a massive disadvantage, and yes, I said Nazi, not German, because everyone knows that it wasn't the Germans that were fighting in World War II, it was the Nazis. Big difference, learn your history. In conclusion, the game is still in early access, but there's far too many issues for it to be accepted in its current state. With all the connection issues, it borders unplayable. On multiple occasions I was disconnected from my game, either due to a server side issue or just because my game crashed. My response to that is, well, I'll just leave it there for today then. The longer these issues persist, the less people will want to play it. I feel like they took COD 1 and they took all the bad things from Call of Duty 5 and then just made a game out of it. It's extremely unpolished and in dire need of updates. There's a lot of promises like new guns, maps and patch fixes, but we're yet to see what Square Enix are going to do about it. All that being said, it's still a far better game than 90% of the shooters released in the last 5 years. If it sounds interesting to you, then it's only 15 quid on Steam. That's probably about, I don't know, 17, 18 euros, $20. In my opinion, this is a fair price for the game. If you're not interested, then you're probably not really missing out on anything. I fully plan to continue playing this game though. I want to see how many critical crash errors I can amass before I delete the game and all ties to its existence completely off my computer. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this detailed review. Massive shout out to my patrons, you guys are absolutely amazing. I don't know what I'd do without you. And as always, have fun guys. I know that throughout the video I compared this game to Call of Duty like a lot. Like, some of you may even be thinking, does he know that this isn't COD? Yeah, I do know this is Battalion 1944, this isn't Call of Duty. But the reason I was drawing a parallel between them so much is purely because this game is made by some of the developers that made Call of Duty 1 and 2. And I think that one of the game testers or something is actually like helping the developers as well. I can't remember exactly. This is definitely a throwback to what shooter games used to be like before they just got, you know, stupid. I don't think it's going to do amazingly well. I think its target audience is a lot of the people that are sort of starting to settle down, maybe not play games as much as they used to. That's not to say I think it's going to do badly. I think it'll do okay for itself. And just for fun, here's the error report.